right, welcome to the closing beat. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Hope you're having a great week so far this week. Everything looks good. Seems like it's working today. It's been a good week so far. Cross your fingers. Hey, if you're watching this for the first time, my name is Dustin Tibbs, financial advisor with Jazz Wealth Managers. We're just going to do a stock market update here. We'll go over anything that you may be looking at today. I'm sure we'll cover a few things that you're probably looking at today. And then we'll share some ideas and hopefully teach you a little something along the way. If we help you in some way, hit the subscribe button. Helps us out greatly. Well, here's the thing. Stock markets higher today mostly. So the Dow was one of the big focus indices today, up 158. You should be able to see it on the screen over here, 159. S&P gained 3 on the day. Not too bad, but hey, why didn't it go up as much as the Dow did, or not as much, but percentage-wise? Why wasn't it sort of in line with that? The Nasdaq was lower by 6, so a little disconnect today. The Dow being the focus, the S&P dragging behind, not really getting much done there, and then the Nasdaq going the opposite direction, so we'll cover that along the way. Also, news down here at the bottom, you got the different sectors and everything to take a look at above, and of course, global markets as well. Let's go over to the charts because I just want to dive right into this. I've been waiting all day to do this. I was thinking about doing another one like midday, but got a little busy. On the charts, you see the Dow. So this is the actual Dow futures contract. So breaking to new recent highs, but still not quite over all-time highs. It sure feels like it's trying to get there. And with the support of the banks today, it could very well do it. In the Dow, your leaders were banks. In particular, the big banks. You got Goldman Sachs was the leader, 3% gain on the day, and JP Morgan. Everyone went for that underperforming sector today. So while you were focused on pot stocks, the big guys were going towards the banks, realizing interest rates were prices were breaking new lows, rates were breaking a new highs. Check out the 10-year above there. Oh, it's on the screen right there, actually. 3.077, so a good day for 10-year if you're looking for higher interest rates. So things like JP Morgan are going to benefit from that. Goldman Sachs. Let's go over to the regional banks and take a look. They had a decent day, but the bigger banks were the main focus. 2.9% for JP Morgan, and Goldman Sachs sitting at 3%. Those have been underperformers. You can look around at like Bank of America. They did well. Wells Fargo, I hate them. They did well. And so as you move around, you kind of see that. If you look at the sector as a whole, we talked about this financial sector. The XLF is the ETF that I'm using when I explain this. And remember we said the bank stocks seem like they'd be willing to go either way. Some days they seem a little weak, some days a little strong, and it just seems like with any good news, it could really fuel that rally. Well, after some time here, it started to happen. More importantly, it's breaking above this range. Now, it tried to do that before, but didn't get any follow through. Today, a little different story. That's a much bigger move, and it's more broad-based, meaning it wasn't just a couple stocks that took bank stocks higher. It was almost all of those big boys that took bank stocks higher. So I think that is certainly a positive catalyst going into the next earnings season. We'll see how it goes. Semiconductors really didn't do a whole lot today, and I wouldn't expect them to do a whole lot until Micron comes out with their earnings. Micron's earnings are tomorrow. So until then, I wouldn't expect much to happen. We're all looking at Micron going, hey, wait a minute, is what the analysts saying going to be true? Well, we're going to find out tomorrow with the earnings. Shipments, is there a slowdown in the chips? That's the real question. So bank stocks were one of your leaders today, sector-wise. Probably made some headlines. I didn't catch the headlines too much today, but made we got 1.7% on the day. The price of oil, Wednesdays we check in on oil. Oil was strong today. It actually closed like 1.7% higher, but is since then pushed up about 2%, moving to the top of the range. And what is that? That's the oil inventory numbers. The actual numbers came in that our stockpiles fell by 2.1 million. This is the first time in like 5 weeks where the expectation came in less than the actual number came in less than the expectation. 2.7 million barrel reduction was what we were looking for, only 2.1. There is all kinds of oil-related news out there. It doesn't get much in the way of headlines because it's not as exciting as some of the other stuff. Let's go over to Tesla. So Tesla actually closed the day higher by 5% on the day. You got the SEC investigating, the Justice Department investigating. The Justice Department was what made headlines today. They said they're requesting documents regarding the tweets that CEO Elon Musk made last week about taking the company private and having funding secured. What documents are there going to be, by the way? The man just tweeted. There is no document. Is there like a piece of paper somewhere where he wrote down, I'm going to tweet on this day? And like, I don't understand that. What documents are they looking for? So I think everybody else kind of asked that question today, and they were like, wait a minute. Can we just put that behind us and focus on what the company's doing? They are clearly trying to run on all cylinders, plus a few borrowed cylinders that they're getting from actual gasoline-like cars. So Tesla up 5% today. I don't think many people care about this investigation. There are a few lawsuits going on and everything. There was even, it's on the scroller at the bottom somewhere, one of the CEOs of AutoNation, he said that Tesla is just going to collapse. He agreed with some of the other guys in the industry. Investors didn't seem to care today, so we will move on. Netflix, kind of flat on the day. They were initially higher. Guggenheim is an analyst company. They raised their price target to $420. That puts it basically at what's known as technical resistance, which is right about here, just these prior highs. So they raised their price target to that. Interestingly, Guggenheim tends to be more technical in their price targets, where some of the other analyst firms, they'll analyze the company and go, we expect them to make so much per share. That translates into this price of the stock, and they'll kind of go with that. Guggenheim tends to, when they make a recommendation, they tend to follow previous technical areas on a chart. I always find that interesting when they put stuff in there. Either way, they got 420 as their target. That gives you about 13-14% upside from where we're at here, 366 to 420. So just overestimate for fun and say 14%. Okay, here we go. We're going to do it. I already see the comments down there. Yeah, here we go. Symbol TLRY. Ridiculous, right? So watch yesterday's video. We talked about the market cap on Tilray already being ridiculous. Here's what's going on. So nothing happened with the company. The stock was higher by, well, the stock closed only 38% higher on the day. It was higher by about 70 or 80%. Actually going to 300, that'd mean about 90% gains. Yeah, pretty much 90% gains, 80, 90% on the day. It then started selling off. After hours now, by the way, it's down another 15%. So although it closed at 214, we're trading at 191. So when you wake up tomorrow, you thought, oh, it's worth 214. No, it's worth 190. We'll see what happens. Here's the thing. As a trade, have fun. I'll bet you had a lot of fun trading this one today. It was halted because it moved too far too fast. Nothing happened. The CEO was on a CNBC show, and that's it. He said cannabis would be a great hedge for alcohol, blah, blah, blah. He said a bunch of stuff. But the bottom line is the company doesn't make any money. Oh, sorry. The company doesn't make any money, and yet you think that they're worth all this money. So as of today, I'm going to look at it just to see where we're at the very moment. As of right now, the company is supposedly worth $22 billion. That's the valuation that traders have put on it. First of all, these aren't actual investors. These are the people that normally trade Bitcoin and they go like chase the next greatest thing. They're the ones in this one right now. I said this about 2 months ago that the media's attention is going to go back to pot stocks because Bitcoin was done. There's nothing else to focus on. This should show you the power of the media. Compare this chart to Bitcoin's chart and then see what happened afterwards. I'm not giving my professional opinion or anything like that, but I will say it's going to do the same thing. The same exact thing is going to happen with Tilray. So just for fun, I thought, let's give people some ideas here. At $22 billion, what companies are worth less than that? So have you ever heard of Macy's? Would you invest in Macy's? They're worth $11 billion, half of what Tilray is worth. But they have $25 billion in sales, and they make $1.1 billion off of those sales. What does Tilray have? Well, we're going to do it. We're going to the charts, or we're going to the screen here. They have 28 million in sales. This is Tilray. This is more of an investor kind of discussion here. They lose 22 million. Okay. Now you got Macy's over here. They, what are they worth? 11 billion? They're worth, I'm sorry, not that they're worth. They do sales, right? So they have a market cap of 11 billion. They do 25 billion in sales. They make 1.1 billion. Which company, although I get the idea Macy's struggles a little bit, which company has the likelihood of generating a return from you in the long term if you're an investor? If you're a trader, different story. It's that one. I'll give you a hint. It's that one. So Macy's. American Airlines has a market cap of 18 billion. So Tilray is supposedly bigger than American Airlines. American Airlines has 43.5 billion in sales. They make 2.46 billion. Lululemon. Tilray, as of today, is worth exactly what Lululemon is worth. Which company do you think is doing better? So 2.9 billion in sales for Lululemon. They make 500 million. They're worth 21 billion, and that's a pretty pricey company, so I wanted to put that in there as well. Think about it, right? It just kills me. So this chart is going, let me see, go over here. This chart is going to look much different in a week's worth of time. It is not worth $214. I cannot believe the media puts so much attention on this. You poor people out there that are watching and trading actively, I hope you're quick. I really hope you're quick, because those of you that think for some reason today was the magical day that pot stocks were going to take over the world, you're going to be in a lot of trouble, right? You bought shares at 240, you bought shares at 260, 280, 300, and you're already losing. I hate to see this. Stocks go too far too fast because of the media, and then everybody that gets burned, just like you guys got burned on Bitcoin, you get burned on these pot stocks, and what happens? The taste in your mouth starts tasting a little nasty, right? What's your worst food that you hate eating as a kid? You start tasting that and you go, oh, stocks suck, man. You can't make any money trading stocks. And that's where it comes from, because you chase this stuff. Please, please, please don't chase this stuff. Have we done enough on that one? E-Trade Financial up 4% on the day. They were upgraded. The company said they had an attractive valuation and a potential buyout candidate. Wait a minute. Okay, so E-Trade Financial. Have you guys ever heard of that company? They're a potential buyout company. So somebody thinks they're about to get bought out. Well, what would they have to pay to buy this company? Well, E-Trade has a valuation of $14.72 billion. They are worth less than Tilray, a company with a tiny little office that only has $28 million in sales and loses money every year. Wow, which would you buy? If you were like a big hedge fund or a big private equity company, would you go buy Tilray and pay that incredible price for them? Or would you go over and look at E-Trade, and they have sales of 2.76 billion, they bring in 807 million a year. They have a profit margin, by the way, a net profit margin of 27%. So 27 cents of every dollar goes in their pockets, which means it would be you as an investor. So, whew. I just wanted to point that out. I don't know. I don't mean to get fired up. I try to leave my opinion out. But when I see people doing this stuff, I mean, today was a day where every call I had was people they're like, I got a 401k and I want to cash it out for no good reason. And you're going to volunteer all this tax. The guy had a $30,000 tax bill he's willing to take just so he can cash. I'm like, oh my God. And then with this Tilray thing, you got to be kidding me. I cannot believe people invest in this. Anyways, not my job. Amazon, basically flat on the day. I would have thought it would have gained a little bit. Amazon was flat. They're going to have 3,000 Amazon Go stores. Have you seen one of those? I think there's one in Seattle and maybe LA, where you just walk in, you pick whatever you want off the shelf, and you walk out. There's no cashiers. So they want to have 3,000 cashierless stores by 2021. That's aggressive. That's like Starbucks type growth right there. So people are excited about that. Now think about it. Amazon, of course, they're worth a lot more than Tilray is, but you're paying, if you invest in Amazon, you're paying 176 times earnings, which just means you're paying 176 times whatever Amazon brings in earnings, or their current earnings. So let's have fun with this one real quick. And you can go. If I'm bothering you, you can go. I'm in rare form today. So in Amazon, let's just try a game real quick. Right? See how you pay attention here. If you invest in this company, you're going to pay 176 times earnings. Okay? So, I don't know. Let's say we wanted to go over here and say, how much would we be paying in earnings? If we're going to buy Tilray, how many times earnings are we going to be paying? Nothing. There are no earnings. You can't pay a multiple of earnings because they lose money. So, think about it. That was my little experiment. That's all I got. All right, anyways, back to the charts. Let's do things that maybe don't get you so fired up. Hey, the defensive stocks. Did you see the defensive stocks today? This is another great example. They started making headlines a little bit, but unfortunately, Tilray took all the attention. Kronos, too. They were in the news. Lockheed Martin United Technologies, we talked about these Rockwell Collin, these groups, they're all getting attention now. What we mentioned 3 days ago now, people are starting to move over into it. So when you can see that money moving into it first and beat the media, then maybe you could participate in something nice. Defensive stocks doing really well today. Raytheon, by the way, same thing there, above the 200-day moving average, trying to get something done. Seems like money's moving into that category. I'll do a few more. MGM's got an activist investor. They put $500 million into the business. Investors like that because they want to see changes there. Fitbit, I haven't talked about this one in a while. Fitbit in the news, 5.3% gain on the day. They've expanded their partnership with Humana to offer a more interactive type healthcare insurance. Wear the thing, go do something healthy, your premiums will be lower. John Hancock actually said today they're going to exclusively only offer healthcare insurance that is interactive, meaning you'll wear the thing, and the better you do, the better decisions you make for your health, the better, the cheaper your health insurance will be. That won't last, by the way. They say that now. They'll change that. I promise you, we'll tell you when they do it. That's not who wants to wear a thing and have you tell them what to do? That's like the people with the auto insurance. Plug the thing into your car, drive around safely, and we'll give you a lower rate. Nobody does that. Nobody wants to be watched like that. By the way, Fitbit. Fitbit has a valuation of $1.5 billion. They have sales of $1.5 billion. They lose $312 million a year. And it's still cheaper than Tilray. So even if you want to invest in a company that loses money, these guys are cheaper. I'm just saying. I wouldn't do it, but at least you got a better choice, or potentially a better choice. Micron earnings tomorrow. Is there really a slowdown in the chips? That's all I had in my notes there to cover for you. What else? Some stocks we've been following. I can't make these, specific choices, but to show you a pattern. Remember Raymond James? We've been talking about that. What happened today? Look what happened to Raymond James. We pointed this out for 3 days. I just like to show you in real time whenever I see something cool. I'm not telling you to buy the stock. I'm not trying to tell you I'm some magical stock picker guy. I just want you to see how investors respond. What you do with it is totally up to you. We said this stock won't get moving again until it breaks above or below these two simple little lines. What happened today? It broke above. People started chasing, and the market closed. If the market wouldn't have closed, it would have kept going, which tells you what? Tomorrow, it will likely keep going. So Raymond James looking good. And Hasbro, these toy makers we pointed out, I think they're about done in the short term. So if you're participating in that as a short-term trade, look, you made some money. Consider cashing out. And Limited Brands, same thing. I don't think there's much more action out of this one, unless there's some kind of news or something coming up. We'll see. And Harley Davidson, kind of broke above the 200-day moving average today. I think we need more information there, but it looks like that one continues to try to turn the corner. I hope that's helpful for you, just from a learning perspective. Don't go buy stocks just because I mention them. I have to say that. Paul says, should I start shorting Tilray? If you did it today, did you see what happened today? It was as fast as you could see. That's called margin calls. Those are the people that shorted Tilray yesterday, and they was such a losing position today that the brokerage firm said, nope, you can't do this anymore, and they bought back the position. That's what caused that spike there in the middle of the day. If anyone was short yesterday, you lost everything you invested in the company today, and the brokerage firm took you out of the trade, probably charged you $50 for doing it to you, and I guarantee you there are people crying today because they lost so much money trying to pick the top of Tilray. No, the answer is no. Don't short that stock. Not for the faint of heart. Okay. Whew. Yeah, the media is kind of focused on any one outperformer. I'll give you that. Yeah. The interesting thing is the outside news hasn't really been that exciting because of the hurricane. And so it's kind of, media, they'll focus on the hurricane. Washington's kind of dropped out because they don't want to be known as the people that are picking on all this stuff when there's people suffering. And that's smart. That happens every time there's a hurricane. Last year, the hurricane was here in Florida by us. Same thing. All the people from the media outlets, the one guy from CNN was literally standing on my corner. If I walked out of my house to the end of the street, he was standing right there. I walked out and I'm like, holy cow, it's, whatever his name was, Anderson Cooper. I'm like, that's Anderson Cooper. He's on my street. So they won't focus on politics too much. And the financial media, They don't have the other stories. They don't have Washington decisions that are affecting stocks right now, not as much as they used to. So it is kind of quiet. When one stock makes a big move, they're going to talk about it and beat the devil out of it. It's incredible. You should see how they book for financial news shows. I've tried to get on some of these financial shows before, they won't have me, but the way that they book it is based on the events. So you kind of got to be ready at a moment's notice. And when they want to beat a dead horse, like today they wanted to beat the pot stocks, I'll bet you they had just nonstop people that had expertise or were investors or invested early or whatever. And all those people got the phone call today saying, hey, can you come on the show real quick? And that's how that works. Thanks, Bruce. Well, that's really all I got. I mean, I don't have anything else for you. So we'll wrap it up there. I think I covered a lot. I'm so sorry for kind of getting fired up about this, but it is the repeating cycle. Those of you that experienced the Bitcoin craze and you dove in on that, now you know better. You see this pot stock thing. If you dove in on that, sort of, shame on you, because you just saw that play out. It will happen again. It will happen again and again and again. And 5 years from now, you'll be able to join me on this show and say, uh-oh, maybe it's, I don't know, copper stocks or something. And you'll see that they're doing the exact same thing. It is like a broken record. It will replay for the rest of your lives. If you just started participating in this, just remember I said that. Don't fall for it next time. There are many, many, many better things to look for. But until then, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I will continue to do this. We'll be back tomorrow for the Doe Show and, of course, this show again. So enjoy. Talk to you soon.
Why should you choose Jazz Wealth as your retirement or long-term investing service? Our portfolios are managed by us, not some faceless mutual fund manager. Our private classes will teach you everything about investing and getting your dough straight. Best of all, our fiduciary standard means your best interest comes before ours.
Hey, wait! Before you go watch one of our other great videos, have you had a chance to see our new Fin Tips videos? They focus on one topic at a time, covering investing, personal finance, and anything that can quickly help you with your dough. Best of all, we'll keep it real short, because we know time is money.